every year on campus, there's this international fair. It's sort of like a food festival slash cultural celebration, and it's fun to go and try new foods and talk to people about their country's customs and events. And it's this gathering of maybe 30 different student groups from 30 different, representing about 30 different countries, all in one space. It's really cool. It's like this concentrated dose of world culture in like a one square block area. Anyway, everyone is super friendly and cameras are everywhere. Everyone's got cameras at this thing. This year there was even a gyrocopter with a GoPro, and I figured it'd be a good opportunity for some street style photography. I've talked before about how I'm a terrible street photographer, and the 50 millimeter lens on a crop sensor camera is not a very good street camera combination, but that's what I got to work with. So I used this opportunity to flex my muscles just a little bit, my photographic muscles, and try taking a few street style photography shots. Basically, street photography is just taking pictures of normal people going about their lives, most likely that you would find on a street, just pedestrians or whatnot. But the trick is to make the photo interesting. A good street photograph tells a story. It draws you in. It makes you think that there's more going on than just someone standing there. It shows some action. It imparts some emotion on the viewer, things like that. Just Google street photography and you'll see what I mean. That's sort of what I was going for here. And I walked around with my coworkers, got some Indian curry, got some Caribbean bread rolls, and I took a couple dozen photos. And to be honest, most of them were not very good. In fact, all of them were average to terrible, except for this one. My pictures generally just showed people standing around talking, but nothing interesting. There was nothing striking about the composition. There were no stories being told. When you looked at the photograph, you didn't think that was, you're looking at anything that had any sort of meaning. It was just people standing around. But, and that was probably due more to my being uncomfortable with the medium of street photography than anything else. I just am not really comfortable walking around and taking pictures of strangers in public places. It's perfectly legal. There's nothing wrong about this stuff. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't know. Maybe I'll work up to that eventually. But this photo here, I did like. It looks like something's actually happening. There's these two guys clearly engaged in a conversation, and that's what they were doing when I took their picture. I shot this at f1.8. Most of the time I kept my camera at f2.8 or f4 because I didn't really need that much or that shallow of depth of field. But here I wanted a little bit of depth of field, and since I was standing about 10 feet away, the only way to get that was shoot wide open at f1.8. And you got the one guy in the foreground in the red shirt, you got the subject, and then all the background information. And clearly there's other things happening too, including the dude right in the middle who looks like he's pointing his finger at me or something. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, the lesson for this week is more something to try, which is just what can you do to make your photos stand out? What can you do to make your photos be more than just a snapshot? Things like change your perspective, use a new lens, things like that. Try something to make your photo be more than just a picture. See what you can do. See if there's something new you can try, a new way of looking at a situation to elevate your photo beyond just something boring and plain and interesting. Strive to find interesting ways of capturing normal or even mundane situations. That's what I tried to do here. I don't know if I succeeded or not. This is really the only picture that turned out where it looked like anything interesting at all was happening. So I hope it works. But that's sort of my challenge to all of you is just take the everyday, normal, mundane situations that you're in your daily life and try and find new ways of capturing them, of showing them, so that when you look at the photo, you think that there's, you get a sense that there's more to it than what you see, or more to it than meets the eye, as the saying goes.